Page 31, Allegretto 2. This is our second Allegretto piece. Now they're introducing 16th notes. Eighth notes, 2 eighth notes to a quarter note. So we go 1 and 2 and to get the eighth notes in. Okay. Well, it's 2 16th notes to an eighth note. See those notes, the 4 notes at the beginning with those 2 bars, those are 16th notes. So those go twice as fast as eighth notes because there's 2 of them in an eighth note. Well, there's 4 of them in a quarter note, right? Has to be if you do the math. Get out a calculator if you need it, I don't care. So when I count them, rather than the 1 and 2 and, I have to stick something in between each of those things. So I go 1 E and 1 E and There's other ways of counting this, all right? You can go research that and have fun with it. This is the way I do it, so this is all I show. 1 E and 2 E and Now, each one of those is a 16th note. Because of this, I've slowed the metronome down to 50 because I don't want to go slow. That it's still beating quarter notes. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2. Those are quarter notes, real slow. Well, eighth notes, I put an and in between. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Those are eighth notes, right? 16th notes, I got to put a 1 E and in there, and I go like this. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and those are 16th notes. That's why I slowed it down to 50. So at the beginning of this piece, it's like so. In the right hand, well, both hands are the same, so it's there. So it's 1 E and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 E and 1. You get the idea? It's really not complicated. You just got to get the idea the 16th notes are just twice as fast as eighth notes, all right? Now we have the slurs, so you're going to connect them. You have the staccatos. And you have some repeat signs. You got a repeat sign at the end of the second line, so we're going to play the first 2 lines twice. And we have repeat signs at the beginning and the end of the last 2 lines. So we're going to play the last 2 lines twice. Now something else, they're adding another type of articulation. Look at the last note on the first line. Actually, it's the last note on the first 3 lines. Doesn't matter. There's a little upwards arrow. We've had the sideways arrow. That's an accent, okay? Well, the upwards arrow is another type of accent. It is a stronger accent than the sideways arrow. But it's more of a it's more of a gotcha. So it's a serious accent. It's not a bang, but it's a serious accent. Okay? I'd like to explain one more little detail in case you're not confused enough. In the right hand, they're giving you a slur and a staccato, and you have these slurs and staccatos throughout, okay? In the left hand, they only give you the staccatos. They don't give any slurs. Both hands are playing the same notes, just an octave apart. Why doesn't the left hand have slurs? The answer is I don't know, but I can tell you it doesn't matter. Because in piano playing, if there's nothing indicated, like at the beginning in the left hand, there's no slurs, there's no nothing, you automatically slur it. So even though the left hand doesn't have any slurs marked, it has the staccatos, gotta have the staccatos, you're going to play both hands the same. They seem to be treating the right hand as the melody and the left hand as accompaniment, and that's fine, because you can have the accompaniment playing an octave lower than the melody or higher than the melody or whatever. It's interesting they didn't do that. Or maybe they overlooked it. They meant to and they just overlooked it. I don't know. But you're going to play both hands the same. So slur both until you get to the staccatos. Because the notes are starting to move quickly. You don't want to mess up the beat. Take your time with this, 1 hand at a time for a while if you have to, okay? When you go to play it with me, hopefully you've already learned it, and you're only using playing with me as a check. But you can play it with me 1 hand at a time for a while. But it's important that you learn to get through this without any hesitations, without any wrong notes. from beginning to end, the whole thing. So I would encourage you not to be in a hurry here. Take your time and work on it. Hopefully you will go through the book multiple times, and maybe the second or third time you've been through the book, you'll start to really get it. This is in 2/4 time. I'm going to give us 4 counts because 2 counts isn't very much. So let's try this. This is both hands are in treble clef. Look at that. Both staves. Okay, so we're up here. And both hands are basically playing the same thing, just an octave apart. 1, 2, ready and go, and repeat. Repeat. Off.